Hi, I'm Tom with Alpenglow gear, and I'm going to introduce you today to the Alpenflow, which is a butane transfer valve that's 100% made in America and weighs less than a penny. You could divide a larger canister into smaller canisters, you can consolidate two canisters together, or you can even take fuel from discarded canisters, maybe in a trail town. First, I'm going to explain how the Alpenflow works, and then I'm going to explain how to use it. Although it's a simple device, there's a bit of science behind it. Fuel will always move from a higher pressure canister to a lower pressure canister, or warm to cold. You can also describe the transfer in terms of pressure because it's directly proportional to the temperature of the fuel. As the temperatures become more similar, the transfer will slow down. What the Alpenflow does is it couples two canisters together so that there's a pressure difference between the two canisters. Fuel can flow between them. Here's a cutaway view of what's happening when you use the Alpenflow transfer valve. The canister on top is warmer, so when the valve is opened, that higher pressure will push that liquid fuel down into the colder, lower canister. The transfer will continue until the upper canister is empty or until the temperatures are equaled out, therefore the pressures have equaled out. Let's do the transfer. This has been sitting in the sun for about 15 minutes, and this has been in the shade or a refrigerator for about 15 minutes. We're going to put the colder canister on a sturdy surface, the Alpenflow valve on top, take the warmer canister, stack it up to form an hourglass shape, and for 5 to 10 seconds, we're going to push down and listen to the transfer. Great. You can hear the transfer going, and if it's hard to hear, you probably need a bit of a larger temperature difference. Lastly, we need to talk about safety. While there are very few reported incidences of these canisters failing, you should be always sure not to overfill. This is because the liquid fuel expands with temperature, and an overfilled, overheated canister will have an incompressible fluid without any space to expand into, deforming the canister. Having a buffer of gas allows the liquid fuel to expand and contract safely. If you're at home, you can use a scale to make sure that the final weight does not exceed the original can's weight, which for the small ones is about 200 grams and for the medium ones is about 360 grams. But let's say you're on trail. Here's a useful trick to know if your can is overfilled or not. So I have a full canister right here, and inside of it there is a certain level of butane, about here or so, 85% full. And the idea here is we want to tip it while releasing butane to see if any material comes out. So we're going to place the Alpenflow on top with the flange up there, and at 45 degrees, a thick plume comes out. A good rule of thumb is that about 45 degrees, that was really fun. So a good rule of thumb is anything under 45 to be safe, you're not overfilled. In closing, I'm pretty proud of this puny purple product. For the weight of 1 penny, you now have control over the fill level of your canisters. Feel free to look at alpenglowgear.co for more ultralight gadgets, and happy trails.